Oh, hold on, Gemini. I need to change this really quick. I need to get you up on the screen here, Gemini. So hopefully you guys are doing good. I'm just going to take this and that actually fits in there really well. Okay, that works perfect. Okay, so everyone, my name's Chance. Welcome to my channel. So yeah, let's start. November 15th to December 1st of 2021. Let's do a love reading for Gemini and kind of see what we can do here. Kind of see what's going on. All right? You guys will, for hence now on or forth or whatever you want, whatever. You'll be known as Gemlins because I feel like that's cute, that's adorable. Helps me to work with you guys. Okay? All right. I'm going to shuffle the cards here. And from there, we're going to see what we can find. I just have to log in here because I am doing these live. I have to log in to see what's going on. And we're basically ready to go. All right, everyone. Sit tight and get ready for a reading. Let me move stuff over. Let me see what I can do here. So, everyone, you'll notice that we're doing these live, these Gemini readings. Let's do about 3 shuffles. So what does Gemini need to know for love from November 15th to December 1st? What does Gemini need to know? You'll notice I'm doing these live. I'm trying something a little different. I hope you guys like these live videos like this. After I do the reading, I can interact with you guys a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Okay, so let's see what we got here for Gemini. All right, so Gemini, we've got sexual freedom in reverse. Okay. We've got compatibility. This one is in reverse. I'm just showing you what it looks like upright. Okay. And then we have the silver waterfall, also in reverse. So, here's how we're going to read this. Sexual freedom, compatibility, and the silver waterfall, all in reverse. Okay. Each one of these cards is generally showing the beneficialness of, like, working together. Silver waterfall is more about finding your uniqueness, finding your own voice, possibly in a relationship. Where all of these are in reverse, though, you, Gemini, could be looking at someone who is trying to, I guess they're trying to translate your soul into something that fits their own idea of a love language. So you could be looking at someone who's trying to water you down or trying to dilute you. They could say things like maybe you're too much, or maybe you're too sensitive, or maybe you're too this, or you're too that, to try and quiet you or stifle you. So we could be looking at a situation like that where we're dealing with a partner that would ideally not be someone that, if we had a second chance to pick, I don't think we'd pick them. Okay? We could be dealing with someone who just does not want to see us for who we are, and that's going to make it hard for us to understand what's going on in the relationship. Okay? Maybe this person gaslights us. Maybe this person tells us what they feel like is going on. It's not the truth, but they're trying to convince us that what they feel is real and what we feel is fake. That can be a situation here. And the sexual freedom part that comes into play, because I was sort of reading these all together, the sexual freedom part that comes into play in reverse could be that maybe you want something else in a sexual way, or maybe you want something done and it's not happening, right? Maybe there's parts where we're not satisfied in the sexual world or the sexual realm. That can be something that we're talking about here, where there's intimacy, but there's not the intimacy that you would want. There's not that sense of connection that you would want. Maybe something's missing. Maybe you want to spice things up. Maybe you want to try something, and this person is not wanting that. This person's not willing to try anything new. This person's not willing to do anything different. Okay, this person views it as, it's kind of like, well, it's your job to keep things interesting in a sexual way. It's not my job. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. Is there's this ungrateful attitude. There's this kind of thing, and then we have the silver waterfall in reverse. Okay, like I said, this is a card about self-exploration, discovering ourselves. When it's in reverse, though, to me, it's saying that someone isn't seeing the gifts that we have. Someone is seeing the way that we are and saying that we could be better. We could do this, we could do that. And they're seeing us in a way that is not helpful. It doesn't feel like love. It feels like we're like being groomed by them, or we're trying to be like the trophy wife or the trophy husband, whatever it happens to be. That's kind of what I'm feeling here with this sort of reading. So in the love way, we're feeling stifled, and we're feeling like we can't find things out for ourselves. We're feeling like everything needs to go through a filter of our partner, and then we can accept it as being part of our identity. So it feels like we're being squeezed off at the source. Something is choking us at the source, or strangling our sense of ambition, our sense of, it could be ambition, it could be pride, it could even be our own enlightenment, understanding ourselves better. That's what I'm seeing. That's definitely what I'm seeing here. So let's dive a little bit deeper here, Gemini, and see what else we can come up with. But so we're going to use these cards here, and we're going to just dive a little bit deeper, okay? And if you guys are going through this, please realize that you guys have more power than you think you do. I understand sometimes it can feel like it's a lot. It can feel like things are not working the way we would want them to work. It can even feel like it's just not flowing. It can feel like we've lost everything. But in fact, when we lose everything, when we've hit that rock bottom, we can actually reinvent ourselves, start over. And we should be reinventing ourselves. We should be having start over moments more often than we do. We get locked into our identity, locked into a certain way of thinking, and then if we try to think outside of that, well, we feel like it's wrong. We feel like we should be guilty, right? Sentenced to 30 years of being yourself. That's kind of what I'm talking about here, okay? There's no reason for us to stay the same person we are today or yesterday. Now, I am an earth sign. I am a Taurus, and I've been the same since I was born. In fact, I looked exactly like this, fully clothed and everything. I was just a lot smaller. But what I'm trying to say is change is good. For an earth sign, it's incredibly chaotic. But for a Gemini, I think change can be something that you do. All right, so let's see what we got here. Let's do 2 more shuffles of the tarot cards. All right, let's do 1 more shuffles. I did use plural of shuffles for 1 more because this one's going to be extra crispy. Get ready, get ready. Oof, that was too aggressive. But I think it gets us where we need to go. So let's look at for Gemini what we got here. Okay. All right, so underneath sexual freedom in reverse, we get the Hanged Man. Okay. So I can view this a couple ways. If there's sexual freedom in reverse and then there's the Hanged Man, maybe you're into some kinky stuff like bondage. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not. I don't know what's going on with you, but you should be able to express yourself sexually if that's what you're wanting to do. The Hanged Man is you're trying to see things from your partner's perspective, but they're not trying to see things from yours. So the Hanged Man being upright is that you're willing to bend, you're willing to try a bunch of different things, or stay the same, or do whatever because you want to make this person happy. And in return, you're losing yourself because you're not doing what makes you happy. But this is both a good and a bad thing, if you want to look at it like that. One way is you're understanding yourself more. You're understanding what you like and what you don't like. The other part is that maybe this person isn't getting you, and that can hurt. That can lead to some late nights. That can lead to some stress because we're not feeling fulfilled in that way. And that's kind of a big component in a relationship. Yes, there's the mental, there's the spiritual, there's the emotional connection. But the physical intimacy is also something of its own, right? Because it sort of interlinks all of it together. It makes it so that we feel close. That's kind of the point, right? Also remember this, intimacy, if we break it down, is into me I see, right? And sometimes your partner is not willing to see who they are themselves. They don't understand themselves. They're not willing to dive deep to look at what it means to be a human. And you are, okay? And if that's the case, you can be looking at partners that are very resistant to intimacy. Like the sex would be no problem, but the intimate part, the part where you're sharing your soul, you're sharing that inner world, that could be something they're not going to do. So let's look at this though. We have compatibility in reverse, okay? And then we have the Star card upright. So this to me, we could be dealing, Gemini, we could be dealing with an Aquarius, Okay, the star card is the Aquarius card. So that could be a zodiac sign that we're talking about here. There could be an Aquarius. So 2 air signs here, right? So a big gust of wind is how I would define 2 air signs. But the thing is, the star card here, this is a card that can denote hope and distance from afar, right? Hey, Lizette, how are you doing? And if this is promoting hope and distance from afar, that can be difficult for us to work with, because maybe we have a long distance relationship. We only see this person maybe one weekend out of the month. Okay, that could be a situation. If that's what's going on, we're not really going to know that person. We're not really going to understand them, because that 1 week out of the month, we can kind of put a lot of other things aside, and then we can give our best selves to that person, and they can hopefully do the same for us. But we're not really knowing who they are, because we're only seeing them for a small window, right? Live with someone for a month, right? And you might have an idea of what's going on there. You might be able to see what's going on. So Lizette, I haven't done Virgo and Libra yet. I'm doing Gemini now. And then I'll go to Libra or Leo, Libra, Pisces, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Virgo. So Virgo is going to be the last one I do, but I'm on Gemini now. But thank you for coming on the channel. Hopefully you liked and subscribed, because that would make me smile. But I'm glad you're doing good. So yeah, if we're looking at someone here, Gemini, I want you to realize that we don't really know. We don't really know a person until we've been with them. You don't really know a person until you've experienced how they act when the Wi-Fi is slow. All right? You get to know a person a lot when you see how they act when the Wi-Fi is really slow. Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. You get to be with a person, you get to live with a person, you understand that person a little bit more. It's very different talking to someone online versus meeting that person, okay? Because when you're talking to someone online, they can always put their best foot forward, always. It's not hard to do, to send words. That is not difficult. But when you're meeting the person, there's body language, there's things that can go in, there's things that can go on. And I want you guys to realize that there can be differences between the online world and the personal, like actually knowing them world, right? Okay, so then we have this. We have the silver waterfall in reverse, okay? A partner possibly not being able to let us fully find ourselves, fully find who we are. So what would that look like, okay? Let's say you want to do something. You want to take a class, you want to be more social, you want to better yourself in some way, and your partner says, no, don't do that. They're controlling a part of you, but you're wanting to explore your own interests. You're wanting to do that, but you're being shot down from being able to explore your own interests, okay? That's not someone that's going to be beneficial to us. It's controlling. It feels like it's not working, obviously, because there's that kind of energy. I get the Knight of Swords right here. This is upright. Okay, Knight of Swords can be an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra that we're talking about. But it can also be a card where we're focused more on, maybe we like having someone else think for us in the relationship, but it gets to a point where the person is controlling us and it's no longer for our own good or our best interests. And maybe it never was. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the cracks that are appearing in this person's persona, right? A persona is a contrived identity. All of us have personas. All of us have these different ways of being with different kinds of people. We sort of adapt, we evolve. But sometimes people have a persona that they believe is really them, and it's not. It's this contrived kind of twisted thing. And you see that as you get to know them. You see the selfishness, you see the unkindness, you see the narcissistic traits that could possibly be coming through. And it's important to realize that once you have seen behind the mask, take that for what it is. Don't try to say, oh no, they're not really that way, or they can be nice sometimes, or they're not always abusive. You know, that's not helpful. That's not going to be putting you anywhere close to understanding the situation. If someone shows you who they really are, look at that and say, okay, I believe you. Don't try to say anything different. Don't try to change the narrative. I understand it can hurt. It can hurt to do that, to see it for what it is. But it also really hurts when you've been in a relationship for 5 or 6 years, and then you realize that's not the person for you because you don't get the time back. You do not get the time back. If the relationship failed, you don't get a 50% refund. You don't get anything. You have to work through that. You have to work through the pain, and you have to work through the fact that you spent so much of your time with a partner that triggered a trauma response, and we stayed with them because we felt like that was love, and it wasn't. Okay, that was a traumatic response. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, so Gemini, hopefully that makes sense. I want you guys to know you're in charge. You have power here, but you need to look at the situation for what it is. If it's not working, it's not working. It doesn't reflect on you. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, but it means that it's not a compatible thing. There's no resonation. There's no glue to hold the relationship together. Okay, and the glue should come from both partners working together. That's what creates the sticky glue, right? That's what creates the sense of bonding. If there is not that glue, if there is not two people working together towards a goal, then you're going to be left doing all of the work, and eventually that leads to resentment. Trust me on this. Eventually it leads to resentment, and you will be wanting to find something different. But sometimes, and this is another thing that can happen, we get so involved in a relationship and we feel like we spent so much time with this person that we're stuck with them. When no, we're not. We can change whenever we want. Okay, we can focus on having that be something. And if it turns out that the person fights against us and does all this and that, all the more reason for us to venture out. All the more reason for us to try something and maybe be alone for a while. Because that's not the worst thing. Isn't being alone. The worst thing is being in a relationship and then feeling like you're alone, even if your partner is right next to you. Okay, that's not a good experience to have. Okay. So everyone, realize you have the power to change, okay? And if you guys are wanting a more personal reading, you can please feel free to reach out on my website. It's linked down below. I do personal readings all the time. I can help you guys with anything that you're wondering about. We can do some energy work, or we can just do questions, psychic, or tarot. So let me know, you guys, and we can focus on getting a session booked, all right? Okay. Everyone take care. I'm going on to Leo next, so I'll see you guys there.